Picture this. You are 62 years old. Saturday morning, you pour coffee and open your laptop to check your retirement accounts for probably the 1000th time this year. Your 401k balance sits there on the screen. $473,000. You have been contributing for decades, maxing it out when you could, watching it grow through bull markets and survive bear markets. The number feels significant, real, like a fortress you built brick by brick. And then you do the math everyone told you to do. 4% withdrawal rate. Safe. Conservative. The rule everyone follows. 4% of $473,000 is $18,920 per year, $1,575 per month. You stare at that number. Your mortgage is $1,400. Your car payment is $375. Insurance is $200. Groceries are $600 minimum. Gas is another $150. The electric bill averages $120. You have not even gotten to entertainment or travel, or the new roof you will need in 3 years, or the fact that your kid might need help with a down payment, or that your healthcare premiums keep climbing. $1,575 per month. You were supposed to live on your investments. That is what every financial blog and retirement calculator and investment advisor has been telling you for 30 years. Your portfolio is supposed to replace your paycheck. 4% rule. Safe withdrawal rate. Live off your nest egg. But $1,575 does not even cover your mortgage. You start running different numbers, maybe 5% withdrawal, maybe 6. The calculator tells you that increases your risk of running out of money, sequence of returns risk, market volatility, longevity risk. Every variable makes the fortress feel less like protection and more like a trap. Here is what nobody told you, what the financial industry does not want to admit, what every retirement planning model conveniently ignores. You were never supposed to live off your investments. Not really. Not the way they said. Because when we look at actual retirees, the ones who have been retired for 5 years or 10 years or 20, we see something completely different from what the models predict. We see people who are not withdrawing 4%. We see people who are barely touching their portfolios at all. We see withdrawal rates of 1%. Sometimes 2, often nothing. And here is the part that makes the entire industry uncomfortable. These people are not struggling. They are not rationing their spending or eating ramen or living in fear. They are traveling. They are helping their grandchildren. They are comfortable. So if they are not living off their investments, what the hell are they actually living on? Let me show you the data. Real numbers from real retirees. Not hypotheticals, not models, not predictions. According to comprehensive research from the Federal Reserve and Social Security Administration, here is how retirement income actually breaks down for adults aged 65 and older. Social Security provides roughly 49% of family income, nearly half. Retirement accounts and pensions combined provide another 16 to 21%. Assets like dividends and interest provide 6 to 10%, and earnings from continued work provide around 24%. Read that again. Earnings from continued work. Almost a quarter of retirement income comes from people who are technically retired but still working in some capacity. 91% of retirees receive Social Security. Oh, not 80%. Not 70. 91%. And for 40% of those retirees, Social Security provides at least half of their income. For 1 in 7, it provides at least 90%. 40% of older Americans rely solely on Social Security for retirement income. No pension, no withdrawals, just that monthly check. Your investment portfolio, the thing you spent 30 years obsessing over, the thing every financial guru told you was the key to retirement, accounts for somewhere between 6 and 14% of actual retirement income, depending on how you categorize it. 6 to 14%. Not 50, not 70, not even 30. The industry sold you a story. The story goes like this: you save diligently, you invest consistently, you build a portfolio, and then one day you flip a switch and start living off that portfolio, 4% per year. Adjusted for inflation, your investments become your paycheck. Clean, simple, elegant, except nobody actually does this. When researchers track real retiree behavior, they find that most people do not withdraw a steady 4%. Most withdraw nothing in a given year. When they do withdraw, it is often 1 to 3%, and those withdrawals are not regular monthly paychecks. They are sporadic, event-driven, a new roof, a vacation, a medical bill, helping a kid. Researchers call this the safe withdrawal rate disconnect. The theory says 4%, the reality says 1%, or 2, or 0. Why? Why does nobody follow the rule that everyone teaches? Because retirement income does not work like a paycheck. It works like a layer cake, and most people never needed to eat the whole cake because the bottom layers were filling enough. Let me explain what I mean by layers. The foundation layer, the bottom of the cake. This is Social Security. For most retirees, this is not extra money. This is not supplemental income. This is the income floor, the base, the thing that pays for groceries and utilities and gas, and the basics. Social Security is inflation protected. It is paid for life. You cannot outlive it. You cannot lose it in a market crash. It just shows up every month, guaranteed. For the median retiree household, that monthly Social Security check is around $4,500. Not six figures. Not impressive, but consistent. And when your mortgage is paid off or nearly paid off, when your kids are out of the house, when you are not commuting to work or buying professional clothes or paying for daycare, $4,500 a month covers a lot. For lower-income retirees, Social Security can cover 70 to 80% of expenses. For middle-income couples with two solid work histories, combined Social Security benefits can easily hit $70,000 to $80,000 per year. That is inflation-adjusted guaranteed income for life, without touching a single dollar of investments. This is why portfolios last longer than models predict, because Social Security is doing the heavy lifting. The portfolio is just sitting there, compounding, growing, waiting. Now add the second layer. Pensions. Yes, pensions are declining. Yes, younger workers are screwed on this front. But for today's retirees, especially those in their 70s and 80s, pensions are still a major factor. Roughly 30 to 40% of current retirees receive some form of pension income. If you worked in government, you probably have a pension. If you worked in education, you might have one. If you worked union jobs or spent a career at a legacy corporation, you might have one. Military retirees have them. Postal workers have them. And where pensions exist, they matter enormously. A pension is like a second Social Security check. It shows up every month. It covers expenses. It reduces the need to touch investments. For households with both Social Security and a pension, those two income streams alone can cover 80 to 100% of essential expenses. Which means the portfolio does not have to be the engine. It gets to be the option, the flexibility, the buffer. But here is where it gets interesting. Here is the layer almost nobody talks about because it contradicts the entire retirement fantasy. Continued work. 24% of retirement income comes from work. 1 in 3 retirees has labor income. Not because they need it to survive, not because they are desperate, but because retirement is not an on-off switch. It is a dimmer. Some people work part-time because they enjoy it. Some consult, some do seasonal work, some turn hobbies into side income. Some phase into retirement gradually, cutting back hours before stopping entirely. And this work income does 3 incredibly powerful things. First, it protects the portfolio early. The first 5 to 10 years of retirement are the most dangerous for your investments. This is sequence of returns risk. If the market crashes right when you retire, and you are forced to withdraw from a declining portfolio, you can permanently damage your long-term outcome. Even a small amount of work income, $10,000 or $20,000 a year, can eliminate the need for withdrawals during this critical window. Your portfolio gets time to recover, time to compound, time to grow. Second, work income allows you to delay Social Security. Every month you delay claiming Social Security between age 62 and 70 increases your benefit by roughly 0.7%. Delay from 62 to 70 and your benefit increases by 77%. 77, that is a permanent increase, inflation adjusted, for life. If you die, your spouse inherits the higher benefit. If you have work income covering expenses, you do not need to claim early, you can wait. Lock in the higher benefit. Build a stronger income floor. Third, work income funds lifestyle, not survival. Many retirees say their Social Security and pension already cover their needs. The part-time income is for fun, travel, hobbies, generosity, experiences. It is money they feel comfortable spending because it is not coming from savings. It is fresh, earned, guilt-free. The financial industry frames retirement as this binary event. You work, then you stop. Then you live off your portfolio. But actual retirees do not behave this way. They work when they want to. They reduce hours. They take on projects. They stay engaged. And that behavior improves outcomes dramatically. Now let us talk about what the portfolio actually does. Because it matters, just not the way you think. Your portfolio is not the engine. It is the shock absorber. You do not draw a monthly paycheck from it. You tap it strategically, episodically. When life demands it, maybe you want to take a big trip. Portfolio withdrawal. Maybe the roof needs replacing. Portfolio withdrawal. Maybe healthcare costs spike 1 year. Portfolio. Maybe you want to help your daughter with a down payment. Portfolio. These are not regular monthly expenses. They are one-time events, lumpy spending. And because they are irregular, you can time them. You can withdraw more in good market years, less in bad years. You can be flexible. This is why actual withdrawal rates are so low, because the portfolio is not paying for groceries. Social Security is. The portfolio is not paying the mortgage. That is already handled. The portfolio is paying for choice, for options, for flexibility. And here is the uncomfortable truth that the financial industry hates to admit. Most retirees do not spend like robots. They do not withdraw 4% every year like clockwork, regardless of circumstances. They adapt. When markets are down, they spend less. They skip the big vacation. They delay the renovation. They tighten up. When markets are strong, they loosen up. They splurge a little. They take that trip. They upgrade. This is not fear. This is not poor planning. This is human behavior, and it works. Research shows that 70% of retirees are what we call savers, not spenders. They prefer to maintain or even grow their balances throughout retirement. Only 8% say they would use savings to maintain spending during a market downturn. 65% say they would just spend less. 75% of retirees do not make any withdrawals from retirement accounts until required minimum distributions force them to. And even then, they often reinvest the withdrawals or save them. 1/3 of retirees have higher account balances midway through retirement than when they started. 1/3. They are not drawing down, they are accumulating. Why? Because their other income streams are covering their needs. Social Security is the base. Maybe a pension adds to it. Maybe part-time work adds more. The portfolio just sits there, growing, compounding, providing psychological comfort. This is not how the models work. The models assume you spend a fixed amount adjusted for inflation every single year for 30 years. But real spending does not work like that. Real spending follows a pattern researchers call the retirement spending smile. Early retirement. Spending is high. You are active, healthy, traveling, doing things. This is the go-go phase. Middle retirement. Spending declines. You slow down. You stay closer to home. You have less energy for expensive activities. This is the slow-go phase. Late retirement, spending ticks back up. Healthcare costs rise. You might need assistance. Long-term care, this is the no-go phase. But even in late retirement, most of those costs are covered by Medicare, Social Security, and possibly Medicaid. The portfolio might help, but it is not the only source. On average, real retiree spending declines by 1 to 2% per year in real terms. Not increases with inflation like the models assume. Declines, because as you age, you naturally spend less on travel, dining, entertainment, and discretionary items. So let me reframe retirement income for you. Stop thinking about it like a paycheck. Start thinking about it like a stack. At the bottom is the foundation, Social Security, maybe a pension. This is guaranteed income. It shows up every month. It lasts for life. It covers essentials. It creates stability. Above that is the transition layer, continued work, part-time income, consulting. This is optional, but powerful. It buys you time, protects your portfolio early, lets you delay Social Security, funds your lifestyle. Above that is the portfolio, not as a paycheck, but as a shock absorber, as a buffer, as flexibility. You tap it when you need it. You leave it alone when you do not. At the top of the stack, home equity and naturally declining spending. These do not generate income directly, but they matter. Paid-off housing reduces your income needs. Declining spending reduces your needs further. The higher you go in the stack, the more optional it becomes. That is the key insight. Your essentials are covered by the bottom layers. Your portfolio covers the extras, the upgrades, the choices. If you design retirement this way, where Social Security and maybe some work cover your non-negotiables, your portfolio stops being the thing you live off of and becomes the thing that enhances your life. Market crashes become inconvenient, not catastrophic. You do not panic because your food and shelter are covered. You just skip the renovation for a year, delay the trip, tighten the discretionary spending. This creates a level of peace in retirement that a 4% withdrawal rule could never provide. Because you are not dependent on your portfolio performing, you have options, redundancy, backup systems. Now here is where this matters if you are not yet retired. If you are in your 30s or 40s or 50s and still building toward retirement, you should be asking a different question. Not how big does my portfolio need to be, but how strong can I make my income floor? Because the portfolio gets all the attention. The portfolio is tangible. It is easy to track. It fits in a spreadsheet. It gives you something to optimize and obsess over. But income is messy. Career growth is unpredictable. Social Security benefits depend on earnings you have not earned yet. The idea of working part-time in retirement feels vague and unplannable. So we focus on the portfolio because it feels controllable, but we miss the bigger picture. Your income is the engine. Your portfolio is the transmission. You cannot run the transmission effectively if your engine is underpowered. Here is what that means practically. In your 20s, build the engine. Focus on earning power, grow your income, acquire skills, get promotions, switch jobs for raises, make yourself more valuable. Yes, invest, but do not starve your income growth to maximize contributions. A higher income now raises your Social Security permanently. It increases your savings capacity. It gives you resilience. In your 30s, accelerate. This is when career momentum matters most. Specializations pay off. Promotions compound. Saving becomes automatic. Your investments start to show visible growth. This is also when you start building the habits that reduce pressure later. In your 40s, balance. You are likely entering peak earning years. Push savings harder now. Build tax diversity. Protect yourself against burnout and life shocks with a real emergency fund. Start estimating your future Social Security benefits. Think about what working part-time might look like. Plan ahead. In your 50s, design the system. Retirement is no longer abstract. It is real. This is when you coordinate. When will you retire? When will you claim Social Security? How will healthcare work? How much flexibility does your spending actually have? The goal is not perfect returns. The goal is reducing forced decisions, keeping choice on your side. In your 60s, optimize the transition. Lock in strong income floors. Make intentional Social Security claiming decisions. Use your portfolio strategically, not frantically. Build the strongest income profile you can to support retirement without depending entirely on investments. In your 70s and beyond, protect simplicity, lower complexity. Embrace declining spending. Let your portfolio be the buffer it was meant to be. Peace of mind, safety net, options. The pattern is clear. Early in life, income is the engine. Mid-career, income and investing work together. In retirement, income coordination matters more than portfolio size. This is why chasing a single portfolio number often misses the point. A $3 million portfolio with no other income is more fragile than a $1 million portfolio with strong Social Security, a small pension, and the ability to work part-time if needed. Redundancy beats size. Layers beat concentration. Flexibility beats rigidity. The retirement industry has spent decades selling a simple story. Save enough, invest wisely, then live off your portfolio. 4% per year. Replace your paycheck with portfolio withdrawals. Clean, elegant, marketable. But it is not true. It is not how real retirement works. It is not how real retirees behave. It is a model, a simplification, a sales pitch. Real retirement is layered. Social Security does most of the heavy lifting. Pensions help where they exist. Continued work shows up more than anyone admits. The portfolio is important, but it is the supporting actor, not the star. And the earlier you understand this, the better you can plan. Because if you spend your entire career fixated on growing a portfolio large enough to replace your entire income at a 4% withdrawal rate, you are optimizing for the wrong goal. Instead, optimize for a strong income floor. Maximize your Social Security by earning more throughout your career. Consider work options that might offer pensions or at least steady income growth. Think about what part-time work might look like in your 60s. Build flexibility into your spending. Pay off your mortgage before you retire, so your essential expenses drop. Your portfolio matters. It absolutely matters. But it matters as part of a system, not as the entire system. When income is layered this way, your investments do not have to carry your retirement. They support it. They enhance it. They create options. That is the difference between living off your investments and using your investments. Living off them is fragile. Using them is powerful. Real retirement is not about hitting a magic number in your 401k and then hoping it lasts 30 years. Real retirement is about building multiple income streams that work together so that no single stream has to carry the entire load. Social Security covers the base. Maybe work income covers the next layer. The portfolio covers everything else. And because you have redundancy, you have resilience. Market crash? Annoying, but not devastating. Your food is still covered. Unexpected expense? You tap the portfolio. Life is good and you want to splurge? Go ahead. The portfolio is there. This is not theoretical. This is not aspirational. This is how actual retirees actually live. The data is clear. The behavior is consistent. The outcomes are strong. The financial industry will not tell you this because it is harder to sell. It is messier to market. It does not fit into a clean calculator or a tidy model. You cannot package it into a one-size-fits-all withdrawal strategy. But it is the truth. And the truth is more useful than the marketing. So stop asking how big your portfolio needs to be. Start asking how strong your income floor can become. Stop obsessing over withdrawal rates. Start thinking about income layers. Stop treating retirement like a light switch. Start treating it like a dimmer. Your retirement does not depend on your portfolio alone. It depends on the system you build, and the strongest systems have redundancy, layers, options. Build the engine. Protect the floor. Let the portfolio do what it does best. Provide flexibility, absorb shocks, create choices. That is how you actually retire, not by hitting a number, but by building a system that works even when the markets do not.